Okay, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today's video for the Apothecary Diaries, Season 2, Episode 12. We're here to wrap up the first core, and yeah, get right into the next one. But last episode was an intense-ass episode. This episode is also called ZUIGETSU? Quite a name for an episode. Anyway, I just thought about that before I started it. Last episode was an intense-ass episode, but before I get to the recap, I want to cover something that I read a comment. I'm obviously recording this right after the last one, but I read a comment on one of my videos where someone did a really good job of correcting me without spoiling anything, if that makes sense. They pointed out a complete and obvious flaw in my theories that I had been crafting without spoiling anything. Without spoiling a single thing, so I really appreciate that. And what they pointed out was for me to be pinning the who I'm assuming is Mama Suide, could be wrong, as the girl from the story that Anshi had been detailing. That doesn't make sense because Suide would have to be older than the current emperor, which does not make sense. Because Suide, to me, appears to be like the same age as Mao Mao. If not maybe a couple years older than Mao Mao, not by much. And so, in theory, that logically doesn't make any sense. For the story that Anshi was detailing and the story that Mama Suide was detailing to be the same story. That doesn't make sense, because if Mama Suide was speaking from experience, if she was the girl in that story who had a kid with the previous emperor, that kid is at least not Suide. That kid could be somebody else, or take it. Ooh, hold up. No, I just thought of something else plausible. Hang on, we're going back an episode or two. So, she's telling a story. What if the story Anshi was detailing is her mother, right? But that also still doesn't make much sense, because that doesn't make much sense because I'm gonna go back. I'm just gonna get it on the frame of her face. That still doesn't make much sense because, logically speaking, hang on, I'm trying to work out ages here. Because she would be exiled. She wouldn't be in the rear palace, if that makes sense. She would not be here. This woman, if the story that Anshi was detailing was her mother, would not be here in the rear palace because she got exiled when she was first born. Okay, well, now that's thrown every theory I had completely out of whack. Because what I had been thinking, I still don't think it's impossible for her to be Suide's mother, but she is not the one from that story. From the story that Anshi was detailing is somebody else, because age-wise, it's not possible. Because she looks a little older, but she's not like Suiden old, because if she had a baby before even Anshi did, then she would be, but then also that's still, how old is the current emperor? I need to know that first. So the emperor is stated to be in his 30s, which would mean Anshi is in her early 40s. Like early to late 40s, basically. Depending on when she had the emperor, I forget. They didn't give us a specific age, but you could assume it's probably like 10 to 15, somewhere in that age range. So the lady from Anshi's story would have to be older than that. She'd have to be in like her 50s, which I guess once again, it's not impossible because Anshi looks really young and she's in her 40s. Like Anshi looks really young and she is in her 40s. So I don't think it's impossible. My theories have gotten so thrown out of whack now from that. I appreciate it, because yes, you're correct. The age thing does not make sense, but I suppose it's not impossible that she is the one from that story, because I believe at the end of this episode, Mao Mao literally says she is probably speaking from experience, but Suide cannot be the girl who was exiled. That is the bottom line. This could still be the lady from that story. I think she is. I think she guaranteedly is. Like Mao Mao said, she was probably speaking from experience in this story here. Let's see where Mao Mao says that. Yeah, that court lady's story was her own experience. I still think it is super possible because Anshi is what, like early 40s, maybe late 40s, and she still looks super young. I think it's totally possible. There was a frame of her face somewhere in here. Totally possible that she is still the lady from Anshi's story. However, and it's still super possible she is Suire's mother, but the difference being that the child that got exiled is not Suire, that is a different girl. But then you'd have to question, who did she sleep with to have Suire? That's the big question there, because yeah, we don't even know who that other girl could be who was exiled with the doctor. We don't know who the hell that could be. That could be any number of people. But if we're talking about Suire, because I still think this is Suire's mother. Now that I've got the ages worked out in my mind, realistically, this lady could still be Suire's mother, because think about it. If she had a kid, possibly the previous emperors that the emperor denied, we're not 100% certain, but I mean, the story would possibly add up, that the emperor went and had sex with her, she got pregnant and had a kid. The kid was a daughter, so they exiled the daughter, but she was still in the rear palace. I don't think it's impossible to say that some, like, 20 years later, because if Suire is probably Mao's age or a little older, she's like maybe 19, 20, 18, somewhere around that age, that like some odd like 20-ish years later, she got pregnant again. This woman right here on screen got pregnant again and had Suire. Because now she'd be in like her early 50s, just slightly older than Anshi, and this new kid would be Suire, but that begs the question who the hell she had the kid with, which I don't know, because there's only, like, no men are allowed in the rear palace, especially ones that aren't castrated. Obviously, I'm getting this right? Anshi got rid of the rule that forces, Anshi got rid of the rule that forces men to be castrated. I guess the biggest question mark now, because I still believe this is Suire's mother, the biggest question mark now is, who is Suire's father? It's not the previous emperor, obviously, because like I have been talking about for the past 10 minutes, age-wise that doesn't make any sense, but yeah, okay. I think I've got it down now. I'm just going to detail the story one more time for myself, just so I can iron it out. So, there was a girl, presumably this lady, I don't think we even ever got her name, presumably this lady, who got pregnant with the previous emperor's child, or claimed it was the previous emperor's child, but that's not been confirmed or denied whether that's true or not, but for just story's sake, I'll say it's true. The child was a girl, they didn't want the girl, so they exiled the girl with a random doctor. Random doctor got pinned with her, pinned as the father, and then was exiled out with the girl. She never left. That's how the story goes here in this episode, that this lady was never allowed to leave the rear palace. And so then some odd, like 20 years later, the previous emperor has passed away now. She is now in like her 30s. She gets pregnant again and has Suire. This is after the previous emperor might still have been alive, because we don't know, because the previous emperor died fairly recently, so the previous emperor would have still been alive, but okay, I'm gonna do this as a timeline kind of thing. I kind of fucked up my storytelling there. So this woman here gets pregnant with the previous emperor's child. It's a girl. They exile her out with a doctor. She's left in the rear palace. Anshi gets pregnant, has the current emperor, has a boy, and so she's allowed to stay there. They raise the current emperor, and then however many years later, we skip ahead like some like 15, 20 odd years later, this woman gets pregnant again, births Suire, but then that begs the question, because Suire is in the outer court. She could have never... I'm not dropping my theory that this is Suire's mother. I'm not dropping it, because there's still motivation there. Like, how do you say this? The motivation still all adds up. That's why I'm not dropping it, even if I can't put dates and like things together yet, and there's still some details missing. The motivation lines up perfectly for why they'd want to do what they do. But she has Suire. Something happens, and so Suire is not in the rear palace with her, probably because in the rear palace, the only people who are allowed to get pregnant are the main concubines that the emperor visits, who she clearly did not get pregnant from. And so, but she's also not allowed to leave the rear palace either. So she has her baby, and maybe that baby gets exiled. They exile that baby out, and that's Suire. And so then after that, some odd however many years later the current emperor takes over, and now they have been trying to enact their revenge ever since then. Like I said, I know I'm missing some details there, and some timeline things maybe don't add up yet, but the motivation is the key thing that's keeping this theory together for me. In that her like being denied and everything like that when she was a kid, she got pregnant with the previous emperor's kid, gives all the motivation you could plausibly need. So I still think this is Suide's mother, but Suide is not the baby from that story, if that makes sense. So this lady must have gotten pregnant like I said, some 20 years later when she's in her 30s. She got pregnant again and had Suide, to which, like I said, if she is locked in the rear palace and can't leave, getting pregnant by somebody other than the emperor is a big no-no, and so they probably exiled that baby too, and that's why Suide was in the outer court. Suide was never in the rear palace. She did all of her work in the outer court. So it's also not unreasonable to claim that Suide and Mama Suide here never actually met, I guess. That's not insane to claim either, because anyone in the outer court would not just be allowed into the rear palace like that. So I still have a ton of questions on how things line up, but I don't think I'm wrong either. I might have just been yapping for like 15 minutes and I'm totally off base. Totally possible. I'm not gonna say that's impossible, but I don't think I'm wrong about this being Suide's mother, because it gives the most perfect motivation for why Suide and her group do what they do. It gives clear motivation. So I think I'm off on some dates. Obviously, who she got pregnant by is still up in the air, but it gives perfect motivation for why they are doing what they're doing. So I'm sure we'll get more details about this as we go along, because I do think I'm right about that. Anyway, last episode. Now I get to the last episode recap. Last episode was a crazy one. Jinshi was invited to go to a hunt with Shisho in his area, his domain, his territory. And Jinshi this entire time has had a mask on because he clearly doesn't want to reveal his identity and risk being murdered. Which, what do you know, he ended up being targeted anyway, which I came to the conclusion that can only be from, like, there's only so many things that could do that. Like, somebody told them, Shisho told them that Jinshi's here, like, only so many things could lead to people knowing that that's Jinshi with how careful he was being about his identity. And then Mao Mao and Jinshi got stuck behind a waterfall together. Some very, very tense scenes between the two of them. And we ended the episode with Mao Mao on top of Jinshi and Jinshi pulling her back in closer. So let's see where the fuck we go from here. But per usual, feel free to check out the Patreon and Discord. Links are in the description below. As far as the Discord goes, we talk about current anime, past anime, current manga, past manga, and have non-anime conversations as well. And as far as the Patreon goes, you get exclusives and uncut to all my reactions, so feel free to check out either of those of your own will. Now, without further ado, step straight into the Apothecary Diaries, Season 2, Episode 12. Ooh, I get a new OP next episode. I'm excited for that. Oh hey, you saw the little, she was pointing out of the cavern hole there in the last scene of that. Wow. And right here in the OP too. How did I not click that before? Right there in the opening is the two of them in the cave scene. Oh, the officials realize what's going on and immediately began a search. Yeah, Boston, it's time to go. We need you to come find us. Roles that are pure formalities. Yeah, and Shisho just sitting there calmly. Yeah. Just sitting there extra calmly. I'm suspicious of you, brother. How the hell did those guys know that that was Jinshi? I'm assuming they know it's Jinshi, considering they tried to assassinate him. I don't think they would just assassinate a random person of noble birth. Like I said, it could be someone in our camp that told them, a traitor or something. I don't know. But the biggest eyeballs are on Shisho right now. Doubtful. Doubtful that he doesn't have something to do with it. Oh god, we're back here. God damn, this scene is tense as fuck. Smells faintly of incense. No fucking way. Is she? Is her hand on his fucking dick right now? Wait, there's no fucking way. There's no fucking way. Wait. This is how she finds out. This is how she finds out he's not a eunuch. By grasping all over his fucking cock. What the hell? Is this what people meant? I swear to God, I've seen the frog emojis everywhere. And I was like, why the fuck do people keep sending frog emojis? Is this why? Because she just said, is it the frog from earlier? Well, she's got her hand on his fucking meat. What? What the fuck? What the fuck? Wait. Oh my God. Momo! Is that, oh my God, are you fucking for real? Is this for real? I can't, wait, what? Momo! It can't be, Momo! We just got shot at not even 15 minutes ago in this series like's timeline. We just got shot at, and now she's over here got a full palm on the on his dick. What the fuck? Can't be what a eunuch has prior to entering the rear palace. She's refusing it to call it a balls in a dick. Stop grabbing it! Momo! Why do you keep grabbing it if you're getting theories about what it is? She's like, it can't be. It can't be that thing that they have out when they're outside of the rear palace. Grips it harder. I'm fucking crying. Oh my God. But it is! This build is unlike the music playing as Momo's finally coming to the realization that Jinshi is in fact not a eunuch. He's got a dick and balls. And there were so many other hints. Finally, she's like, everything, all those hints that I dismissed before, all of them were true. Because there's been countless times where she's been right on the cusp of realizing he's not a eunuch, but she just dismissed it or like found some logical like way to like hoops to jump through to not realize it. Yeah, yes, you were. You do that a lot, Mao, by the way. You have a very, honestly, I would love to have her ability to just subconsciously put thoughts I don't want to think about away. That sounds like an incredible ability to have, and Mao has it. Master Jinshi is, in fact, a man with a dick and balls. In a way, and I'm gonna go through as much trouble explaining. What the fuck just happened? What just happened? I can't believe that. No, I must not listen. Ooh. I can't believe that is what is going to lead us into Jinshi telling Mao who he actually is and what his actual status is. I cannot believe that is what's going to lead us into this. Her grabbing... grabbing his frog. I get the frog memes now. I'm in the loop. I get it. I'll have to take it to my grave. What? Does she think he's gonna tell him like I'm not actually a eunuch? But he's gonna tell her like no! She's stopping him! It was a frog! Her face! The switch to a smile. I don't think Jinchi's gonna let her get out of here without him explaining himself. She's trying to push it away and just hope that he won't say anything. Yeah, he's going to say something.
What
else could it have been? Frogs. Frogs are much smaller is insane. He's like, I've actually got quite, it's pretty big. Frogs are smaller than that. It couldn't have been a frog because they're much smaller. Oh my god. Somewhat large frogs. Oh my god, I can't breathe. This is so funny. There are lots of somewhat small or somewhat large frogs. Oh my god. Somewhat large is hilarious. If it wasn't a somewhat large frog, what other somewhat large thing? I love how she's refusing to. She only's calling it somewhat large, which is like a compliment, I guess. But what the fuck is going on? Now she's there wiping her hand off. Nothing more, nothing less. Yo! Whoa! Whoa! We are 5 minutes in. What the fuck is this episode on? Holy shit. I don't even know how to react to this. What is happening? Whoa! Bro! Jesus Christ! By the way, I have been recording for 30 minutes and I am 5 minutes into this episode. Obviously, about 2/3 of that was from me theory crafting in the beginning, but you know, it's still crazy. Jesus Christ! I provoked him too much! Oh my god! Oh my god. Mama's obviously gonna push him away. The fuck it. The fact that she wasn't gonna do anything. That dog is the only thing that just stopped that from happening. Jinchi's hand quaking and Mama just... Holy shit! The dog heard the whistle. Now she gets her out real quick. Oh god! Lee Haku should be right behind, right? Good boy! Oh my god, what an insane scene. Oh my god. But also the fact that goddamn, she did much, because Jinchi wasn't just gonna say I'm not a eunuch, he was going to explain everything. But yeah, it's because Mama wants to keep the status quo of her just being a servant for Jinchi. She didn't want to learn all this new knowledge about him, because she knows the second she does, she's no longer just a basic servant girl, which she never was in the first place, obviously. She never was. I never has been for anybody here. But it's like, she knows when she learns that information, officially it'll kind of be like, you're no longer just a basic servant girl anymore. Lee Haku. And Jinchi! Yeah, because the second you fire it, it'll scare everything away. That's what I was thinking. I was like, there's no way these Faithas are for hunting because they're so loud, you would immediately scare everything away. Like today in hunting, you would use like a silencer or something on a gun if you were going to use it, and some people don't even well, no, most people use guns. I guess it depends on the range too, because people will use like snipers nowadays from like way further range to take him down. Anyway, I'm not a hunter, so that's outside my area of expertise. Smuggled in for the assassination.
師匠様に招待された交換ばかりです。手元に置くような真似はしないかと。李白様、その犬は笛で呼ぶ以外に何かしつけをしていますか？ウサギの穴を探すくらいはできるみたいだが。
Oh,
愛嬌はある。
cute doggo.
高専様。
なんだ?
He's mad.
あんな行動に出られてつい煽ってしまったが。
He was trying to tell you. Yes, he was. He's not mad because she didn't even reject his advances, to be fair. After he pinned her down, she wasn't even gonna reject him. But at the same time, yeah, he's not mad or anything like that because their moment got interrupted or something. He's mad because he was trying to explain something to her and she denied it and like basically taunted him to get him to stop because she doesn't, like I just explained a second ago, she doesn't want to learn that information because she wants to uphold the status quo of their relationship just being a servant and master. She does not want it to move into anything else where she becomes anything other than just a basic servant, which, like I said, I'm repeating myself, but she already never has been.
なのに知りたくないからと。ご自分の姿に大層な自信を持つお方だ。
I bet his frogs quite... That's not why he's mad, Mao Mao. That's not... I promise you that's not why he's mad. He really wanted... I'm pretty sure he wanted to explain everything about himself, like who he actually is to Mao Mao, but Mao Mao's now equating it to he's mad because I called his dick small. But like, somewhat large is still a compliment. Saying you got a somewhat large dick, that's still a compliment, I feel. Shit, I'd take that compliment any day. I mean, like, I don't think that's an insult, but maybe to Jinchi or someone in this time period, that's an insult. But also, like, it's just the thing of, like, that's not why he's mad. Mao Mao is completely off base here. He's mad because he wanted to tell her about him and, like, who he actually is, and... yeah, she pushed it away. But that's not why he's mad. Her referring to his frog as being somewhat large is not why he's mad. It might be part of it, but that's not the main reason. I have to say what needs to be said. What? Who is this guy and why are they doing this? I'm not a rog by the way. Oh, is this Lee Haku? Wait, this is Lee Haku. This is Lee Haku trying to goad out whoever the assassin is. This is their plan here. They're gonna fake like Jinchi was actually killed to goad out whoever hired the assassins, right? It's too late to panic now. Yeah, that's Lee Haku. And Lee Haku's gonna go out and find them. It's interesting, it's like Boston also knows that he's fine. The way he says that, what are you thinking? Ooh. Good boy. It's exactly what they wanted him to do. This is crazy, man. Did they send another thing out? Yep, they sent another thing out. Simmer's the one found by the river. Yeah, but they didn't shoot. They did not shoot arrows at them. Look at Lee Haku in the back there. They did not shoot arrows at them. Low N. We're not reacting unnaturally either. All a part of the plan. The forest as well, not just. Oh, somebody twitched there. And Liaku's just got a big old smile on his face. Clearly showing Boston like we have a plan.
そこに何かあるのでしょうか。
Fool! Oh shit! They already got it! Oh, Lee Haku, there we go. And Lee Haku's a big boy. You are not fighting back against him. Doggo! And they tied his ass up. You're done. You're done for, buddy. Right away with their sharpeners. It's a sick-looking gun, to be fair. This must be why they refused to take the dog along on the hunt. Oh! They didn't refuse the dog or any. They refused it because it would track the smell. That's so. Because last episode, Lee Haku was off on his own. I don't remember exactly what he said, but they had like. Let me go back and get it. I was about to join the guards, but they made me take care of the dog instead. So yeah, they made Lee Haku take care of the dog away from the hunt and everything going on. 3 Feifas, but only 2 shots were taken. Damn!
混ぜて作った火薬が爆発すると匂いを発します。まるで卵が腐ったような。
Yep, when we were shot at on that cliff. Damn, we got best boy here. We found a new best boy in this series, and it's this doggo. What a clever dog. Yeah, when they actually did nothing wrong. Then you suddenly show me a scrap of cloth. That's kind of the point. Make their crime clear. What you thinking about, Mamo? I'm not. The fact that we haven't addressed how they knew who was behind the mask, because I don't think they just randomly took shots at some random person wearing a mask. They had to have fucking known who it was. I'm still suspicious of Shisho as the masked lord's whimsy. Damn, because they're probably gonna go be killed. Was the surrogate for Master Jinshi. Boston over there looking stressed as hell. Because you angered the Empress. I also don't. I mean, I still don't think Gaoshin is a eunuch either. Oh. Oh, wait, maybe he actually is one. He actually became one after he had his kids so he could be with Jinshi. Because I'd always been theorizing, because I thought Boston was 18 while Jinshi is 19. And so I was like, in theory, depending on when Gaoshin started looking after Jinshi, he could have had Boston after that, but I guess he probably didn't start taking care of Jinshi until Jinshi was like at least a year or 2, which would have been after Boston was born, so then he could have become a eunuch after that. At parties, I am treated as one of the Ma family. Have we heard of a Ma family before? I'm not sure if we have. That's interesting. His name's not actually Gaoshin. That's how it is. I'm talking about Jinshi. The masked? Interesting. So they said, that's really interesting. They basically said Gaoshin was the surrogate for Jinshi, but Jinshi couldn't show up. And so, but then the masked lord, they don't know is actually Jinshi here. That's really interesting. So it's under a guise that Jinshi could not show up with Gaoshin, but he actually did. But he's just the masked lord. That's the cover story they go with.
して、どうなのです？先の巫女様の崩御以来。
私はあいにく少し酔いました。
That's really cool that they're like out on the water like that, but what the fuck was that? Crown Prince? Crown Prince after the tragedy earlier, have any of the concubines come to be with child?
皆に定めようとしているこたびの狩りの主賓、すなわち帝の弟で
Oh, wait, what? Oh, I get it. Okay, I get it now. So Gao Shun is here as a surrogate to be here with Jinshi, who is, you know, the Jinshi persona that he puts on around everyone in the Root Palace and things like that. But Jinshi couldn't show up, but the masked person, the masked lord, is the Emperor's younger brother, and people seemingly know that. And so the reason he's masked is because the cover story is that the younger brother has a bad burn scar on his face. The main guest of this hunting party, that is the Emperor's younger brother. So, oh. And that's why Jinshi's so scared to take off the mask, is because if someone sees he doesn't have a burn mark, they'd immediately know the story, that story they have is fake. That's interesting. And so that's why they say they have no respect for the Crown Prince, because Jinshi, the Emperor's, because not Jinshi, but the Emperor's younger brother is constantly not there. He's very sickly, he's not out in public very often, and when he is, he wears a mask because he's got a burn mark on his face. That's really interesting. We're finally getting some insight into the younger brother persona that Jinshi takes up, and that's what he's doing here. He is parading around as the Emperor's younger brother. No, he was not. It's very I'm glad we're getting Gao Shun's POV here, because that just explained a lot about what has happened over the past episode and a half. But that also, I think, maybe, does that clear Shisho? Because in theory, if everybody knows the masked person is the Emperor's younger brother, if everybody knows that, then in theory, Shisho wouldn't have to secretly tell anybody, anything. Like, because that's already known knowledge that that's the Emperor's younger brother, and so someone trying to assassinate him is not the craziest thing ever? I guess that makes sense. So maybe I won't be suspicious of Shisho anymore, because in theory, if everybody already knows that the masked lord is the Emperor's younger brother, then it makes sense somebody would probably come after him at some point. It's not like somebody had to secretly tell him, oh, this is the Emperor's younger brother. The way Gao Shun says it, it's as if he literally says everyone is trying to determine if the main guest of this hunting party is fit to take over the throne. Like, that is the Emperor's younger brother. Like, it seems like everybody knows who he is, and so it's not like Shisho would have to whisper and tell somebody, like I'd been theorizing, that that's the Emperor's younger brother, or that's Jinshi, to which somebody would go and try to take him out. It seems like that's just common knowledge. Okay, that makes things make a lot more sense, and I don't think I'm super suspicious of Shisho anymore. Sadly, Gao Shun, no, he was not. She really is that useful. Damn. But problems in the near future, that's ominous. That sounds very ominous. That sounds very intense. Yikes. Another uncomfortable ending. What they really wanted and so on. From the west again. Isn't that where the caravan comes from? Yeah, they come from the west. Okay, thank you, Memo, for putting two and two together here. I think somebody had told me that I was like, I blatantly wrong, or that Gao Shun's story had tricked me, or something like that. I don't really remember, but yeah, that story that Gao Shun had said was about those two. Ooh. You know, Mama, you'd have a lot more information, by the way, if you'd let Jinshi tell you what he wanted to tell you. you would have a lot more information on their possible motivation. Like, if you let Jinchi explain why he's wearing this mask and why things are kind of weird, you would have had a lot more information. But yeah, about like where they got the guns from and how that's involved with... Ooh! Oh, hold the fuck up. Mama was right. What the fuck? That's right. This is that box of guns that Mama literally just showed in this episode. Like, that's literally that box. That is literally that box that she is looking at in episode 5 of this season. Holy shit, Mama, I think you're right. They gave the guns to people. What does she say in this scene? Fine, then. It's like she's resorting to it as a last measure kind of thing. Holy shit, that's crazy. I've been thinking about this scene, but I didn't... Oh man, it getting paired back here is crazy. Damn, this episode is nuts. Oh my god. Is he going to explain himself now? And like maybe actually explain what he wanted to say? Ooh. But I know what face he's making. She still thinks that's what he's mad about. Which, like I said, it's maybe partly why he's upset, but like at the same time, that's not why. He had so much he clearly wanted to tell her. Comes to understanding human feelings. Aww. It didn't take long for me to learn to stop crying. Good and bad. You will always... Ooh, damn. You will always be Master Jinshi to me. These are my honest feelings. Whether he still has his balls or not has nothing to do with me. I feel like one day in the future you might eat those words when you actually fall in love with him. Because damn, this is the slowest slow burn romance of all time. I see, I will always be me in your view. Oh! So they're making every little detail so tense now. I'll give you this when I told you a certain something. Is that the Ox Balzar? Is that what that is? It is! Wait. I brought you along on this trip. Because you said I wanted to give you... The longest time I wanted to give you this when I told you a certain something. Also, I kind of want to go back because this whole scene about... I will always be me in your view. I love that because for her, it's her saying like, you'll always just be my master, never anything more or anything like that. That's what it is for Mao Mao. But for Jinji, it's her basically saying, no matter what you tell me about who you are in your position, you will always be the same Jinji I know. To him, at least in what I'm getting from this, is that Jinchi is interpreting this as her saying like, no matter what you tell me, I won't look at you differently. I think that is how Jinchi is taking what she's saying here, and that's why he's so like relieved to hear her say that. But in reality, for Mao Mao, it's a lot different. She never wants to see him as anything other than just Master Jinchi. Like, she doesn't want to see him as anything but a master-servant relationship. I love that disconnect misunderstanding there. That's really well done, and how they handled that. That's why that's so relieving for Jinchi to hear, because he believes that now, no matter what he tells her or anything, she's always gonna see him as the same Jinshi she's always known. I wanted to give this to you, when I so has he had the Ox Bizarre this entire time? Has he had it this entire time and he's just been waiting until he told her this to give it to her? All for that reason. Jinchi, I don't think you're gonna be able to tell her literally anything right now. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. The rarest of rare medicines I only saw in my dreams, now in my hands. That was a lot of it too, wasn't it? That looked like a lot of it. Yeah! That's not at all what he wanted to tell her! Oh my god! Look at that adorable smile! Is he gonna? He's not gonna be able to tell her now, is he? He's not gonna. Fuck! You should have told her and then given it to her, because now he's not gonna be able to tell her. God damn it. So it's gonna get pushed back even further for Mao Mao to learn who Jinchi actually is. God, the way this series continues to push that revelation back more and more and more is infuriating. I think Jinchi just fell even more in love. She's in La La Land, man. You're not gonna get to her. You really should have told her and then given her that. No one will ever come between us because now Jinchi can't get her attention. If a secret, oh my god, this fucking grin on her face. The fact that this is still just not even remotely what he wanted to tell her. Oh my god, man. What? Oh my god. Oh my god. She said that with the biggest grin on her face. Poor Jinchi. I can't believe this, man. Oh my god, they somehow found a way to push back even further what Jinchi wanted to tell her, even though this entire trip was so that he could tell her his true status. Well, the reason he brought her on this trip. That's not the entire purpose of the trip. Wait, what? There are only two people in this land with Ka for flower in their names. Is that the title of this episode? Ka ZUIGETSU? The emperor at the top of it. And so Jinchi's actual name is Ka ZUIGETSU? The Moon Prince. You're our emperor's younger brother. Kazuigetsu. What a crazy episode! What a crazy way to end the core. Oh my god. I can't believe they somehow managed to push Mao Mao finding out about his true identity even further down the line. Well, his true identity, kind of. Because he and seemingly most other people believe he's the emperor's younger brother. But it seems like a super small select few know that's not the case. Probably the emperor himself, Anshi, who I'm assuming from episode 9, it appeared to me like she probably knows, and Aduo, those three might be the only three who know. Maybe Luomin as well, possibly. But it's like, oh look, that, wow, the bag of the ox, I'm assuming it's pronounced Beelzars, whatever, Bolzars, however you pronounce it, Beelzars, is right there in the OP, or ED. That's crazy. What a good episode. As I was saying, yeah, because in episode 9 I theorized that it's super possible that Aduo and Anshi came to a deal together to trade babies because Anshi did not want to take care of a baby of rape, and Aduo knew that trading the baby would give her child a better chance at life to be treated better. Yeah, that's my theory and reasoning behind why I think those three possibly know about the baby swap. Anyway, fucking insane episode. Seriously insane episode. Alright, we will be getting into the second core very shortly here. I'm hoping to catch up soon. These two episodes were so damn good. Oh my god. Each individual reaction for episode 11 and 12 were both like an hour long of raw footage. These episodes take me so long to do. Anyway, incredible episodes, like I said. I don't have a whole ton to add here. I talked extensively during the episode, the ED, whatever. I don't have a whole ton to add here. I'm just super excited to get right into the next core. It seems like a lot of things are building, the way Gaoshun's talking and things like that. Like, seems like shit is about to hit the fan big time. But yeah, I'm kind of dropping my suspicions on Shisho for the time being, because the fact that the way Gaoshun said it, it made it seem like everybody knows that the masked person is the Emperor's younger brother, so in theory, anybody could go after him. It's not like Shisho had to tell them specifically who he is. And then we also found out that from what Mao Mao theorized there, and you go back to episode 5, it seems like the two girls, I forget their names now, the two blonde girls from the West, the envoys, actually might have seriously given those guys the guns to try and take out the Emperor's younger brother. There's so much crazy shit going on right now, guys. This show's insane. But yeah, I think that is going to wrap it up for my reaction to the Apothecary Diaries Season 2, Episode 12. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I hope you all have a good day.